Quite weak, Mark. You've set a few aside and you've got only the three runners, but two of them are going down to the deep south this week. We've got Fleetmaster and Lulu Le Mans going around. Fleetmaster to kick his campaign off in a maiden down there tomorrow. How will he fare?
Yeah, probably strikes quite a good maiden field down there. First out of Proctor's, and also one of Graham Addison's goes quite good, and he's drawn wide first up. He seems a lot better. He's crook for Addington, where to scratch him, and his work's been good since. And what's quite a strong maiden field for down there, drawn wide, he's probably just an outside place chance.
He was quite a positive winner at Ashburton Trials. I know that, it was a bit of a run around in the sprint up the straight, but he performed pretty well, suggesting he's going to win his maiden.
He'll pick up his maiden, just got to really find the right race for him. Like Addington had a race on Sunday that he misses out by 1 point, which is really his class of horse, the low-grade maidens. So with the handicapping the way it is, or the programming, we couldn't really have an option in Canterbury. He couldn't take the good 3-year-olds on at Addington. It's kind of too tough. So headed south, and they do pretty good splits down there. So hopefully in the next coming weeks he'll get the right race.
Do you reckon you've struck the right race with Lulu Le Mans down there tomorrow?
I think the race we struck is a very strong field. So I wouldn't say it's the ideal race, but I'm saying that she's been racing pretty strong fields in Canterbury. So you don't get much stronger than what she's been racing. And to the second row is probably a good draw for her. She can follow through. There's a bit of gate speed off the front, and the hype horse William Wallace is in there, and Love on the Rocks, and some Southlanders that are racing pretty good. But in saying that, she's come out of pretty strong form races at Addington, race good, and she's pretty adaptable. So I'm sure she'll hold herself in pretty good stead in that field.
Will this qualify her for Southland Oaks, or is she already there already?
She needs another start, and two, she probably nearly has to win the race. So we've got two options left this week and next week, and hopefully we can get out of the way this week if she races good. So that'd be the ideal plan, but as you know, everything doesn't always go to plan with horses.
Okay. Very quiet. Addington this week, 2 meetings, and you've got one runner. Listen in the 9th on Friday night. Terrific returning performance. Has he trained on good? Has everything looked good getting into this week?
Yeah, he seems pretty good. He's still a fair bit big in condition for what he should be, but it's only early in his campaign, and he's carrying plenty of weight, but his work's been pretty good since, and his first out run was extremely good, and he should only improve on that. So he's a horse that will keep improving. He's nowhere near his peak yet, but in that field, with a tricky draw, gate speed inside and outside him, but he's pretty adaptable, and I think he'll handle himself pretty well in that field.
Is there a long-term goal with him? Is there specific races that you're really targeting further down the track?
We were planning in the back of our mind. We'll just target down the track, but at this stage, the syndicate's been very patient with him, and they're getting rewarded for their patience, the way he went first up and the way he should continue. And probably long-term, he'll head to Australia for the Breeders' Crown in November. Then he's Australian bred. We bought him from the Australian Sales a couple of years ago, so he'll head on to the Vic Bred Series, which is run over Christmas time in Melbourne, and then he's got the APG sales worth $350,000, I think it is, in the new year, and he can probably qualify go and qualifying races for the big 4-year-old races over there. So his long-term plan will be Australia. Just he's only really got the size stakes here in New Zealand. He's not paid up being an Australian horse, so he'll head to Aussie, around Cup time and race for in excess of $500,000, all going well, and I'm sure he'll put himself pretty well over there too.
Speaking to Cran today about Krug, obviously the way things are going in Victoria at the moment, there has to be a little bit of concern about getting there just at the moment. I know it's a long way down the track, but things aren't so flash in Victoria right now, are they?
Yeah, I actually read Cran's story today, and probably the same as me. It's just interesting times. Like, we don't know what's happening with the racing in Victoria, whether these races will actually go to plan, shut down, trying to get the horses there, get ourselves there. It's completely unknown. So we can only go by what's planned at this stage, and it is November, and you've also got to get the flights there, and hopefully, Addington Raceway and that work within, with Australia, and if we could actually get those good 3-year-olds racing at Cup Day and have a direct flight back to Melbourne, it'd be actually ideal, and they can take an all series. I know Purdon's would be well into that, Cran, even my one would just be supporting races. And what it could also do is entice, a Lochinvar Rad or a Ride High to come to the New Zealand Cup, because looking at our depth of the Cup horses this year, if we don't get some of the national horses from Australia over, I think it could be a bit of a boring old race. And we've got plenty of depth in New Zealand, but we do need some other stables, and especially the Australians, to add a bit of interest in what they bring to a race. Is they bring a lot of excitement in the unknown. Like they do drive a bit more aggressive than us. So hopefully Addington are working closely with those trainers, and if Melbourne does open up, we can get their horses here, and vice versa, we can actually head there for their big carnivals, because hopefully we won't work against each other. We want to work together, and be great for the New Zealand Cup Carnival and also for their Breeders' Crown if we can contest them both.
Oh, I think so. I think Australia need our good horses just as much as we'd like to see some of theirs, and there's got to be a continuation of that. Otherwise it does become a little dull and boring, if you like. And and owners that have got good horses also need to be given the opportunity to race for the good money, don't they? That's just one thing. It's like it's all very well to have a good horse, but you've got to have good stake money to race for.
Yeah, we can't actually work against each other. Like the states in Australia are bad enough competing, and I think if Addington work with Australia, all like regions or all states, that it's quite important. Like Krug's probably your best example. They paid big money from the sales, and it's well justified, and he should be able to go in every race possible, and that's part of the planning of the whole season. And we need New Zealand and Australia to set a plan where these horses can race in all races, and Krug should be able to compete in the size stakes at Addington on Cup Day, and he should be able to compete in the Breeders' Crown following on from that. And they definitely shouldn't be clashing and allowing the horses to win as much money as they can, because you got to remember the owners fund these series. They pay the payments. It is a bit of lottery racing, and when you're paying those payments, you can't really afford to miss out on any of them. So hopefully it works out and every horse is eligible for every race.
Dead right, Mark. Let's hope it all does come together. Well, good luck with the team. You've got 3 chances and 3 winning chances, I've got to say. So let's see if you can keep this run going on the weekend.
Yeah, it's a bit harder with the less numbers and that, but probably wouldn't surprise me if one of the 3 won, but we'll just take what we can get, and we'll be happy with whatever the results are.
I'll go Lulu. I reckon if she gets the right run down there tomorrow, she'll be very, very hard to hold out.
Yeah, well, I'll probably go Willison, so hopefully one of them can win, and probably knowing our luck and how good a tip as we are, Fleetmaster will probably be the only winner we get.
Yeah, many would say that, Mark, so yeah, we won't disagree with them. Very good, thanks for that.
Yep, thanks very much.